Hello and welcome to the third edition of the Ranting Usher's Favorite Movies, where I talk about movies that blew me away the first time I watched them, and movies that still blow me away, even after multiple viewings. These films definitely deserve a lot of praise. So far, I have reviewed Girl Interrupted and Apocalypse Now. Before moving forward, I would like to say a few things about Apocalypse Now that I neglected to go over the first time around. I had briefly mentioned the soundtrack before, but I feel it is definitely worthy of more recognition. Several composers were credited for Apocalypse Now, and they all collaborated spectacularly well, arranging a score that truly immersed viewers into the bizarre atmosphere and horror that surrounded the Vietnam War. Select tracks from both The Doors and the Rolling Stones are particularly memorable, as they effectively establish the serious vibe and tone of the film. In addition to having an amazing soundtrack, Apocalypse Now was filled with groundbreaking visuals, cinematography, and production design. Even to this day, they are still stunning, still extraordinary. Both the soundtrack and the visuals are among the many reasons I give Apocalypse Now a solid 5 out of 5. Now I'm finally ready to talk about the third favorite movie on my list. Let me talk you to your seat. Released in 1994, based on Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles and directed by Neil Jordan, Interview with the Vampire may very well be one of the most sophisticated horror dramas ever made. Sometimes, when a genre is graphic, intense, and mysterious as horror is combined with drama or vice versa, they don't always work well together because horror is often the one that dominates. Interview with the Vampire is written and directed in such a way that both horror and drama not only complement one another, but actually seem to form a rare and compatible marriage as the story unfolds. Lewis, one of the leading vampires, played by Brad Pitt, shares his story with a biographer, Christian Slater, thus setting the drama in motion in the strongest, most compelling way possible. The horror elements are woven throughout the story, making for a much greater balance tone-wise, as opposed to the over-the-top way horror is utilized, as well as exploited in far more dubious adaptations. The casting choices were spot on, albeit a tad risky, but all the actors delivered superbly genuine performances. Brad Pitt appeared in almost every frame, and the scenes he appeared in were equally as captivating to watch as his narration was to listen to. The tale of his transformation from human to vampire and the way his character continually evolved was utterly riveting from beginning to end. Tom Cruise as Lestat could easily have gone wrong. He could have been either far too charismatic or far too sinister, but he knew how to bring just the right blend to the role to really pull it off, and he's a lot of fun to watch for that reason. Antonio Banderas as Armand and Kirsten Dunst as Claudia were also really great. They each brought unique quirks and other special qualities to their supporting roles that made their characters equally as memorable as the lead roles, however brief their screen time may have been. I want to talk about dialogue for a moment. Now, in an average movie, you can generally find 2 or 3 lines that could potentially have been cut out of the script, without doing a disservice to the story. Interview with the Vampire was not one of those movies. Every line, every word was absolutely necessary, and delivered in a way that was very poetic. You would think the actors were reciting poetry throughout this entire film. The editing of Interview with the Vampire was amazing. Every frame was beautifully shot, beautifully directed. Both the darkness and the light were extremely well manipulated. The costuming, the set design, a versatile and captivating score composed by Elliot Goldenthal, as well as other qualities that I've already mentioned, all culminate to create a spellbinding film that is worthy of multiple viewings. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being a train wreck and 5 a masterpiece, I give Interview with the Vampire a 4.9 rating, only because of a Guns N' Roses song that was thrown in at the very end. I like Guns N' Roses, but that genre of music didn't quite fit in well with the tone and the atmosphere that the film had already established. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. I've had a great time talking about some of my favorite movies. What are some of your favorites? And how do you feel about the movies I've reviewed during this series? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. You're also welcome to share or subscribe for more great content on my channel, and I'll see you next time.